And good morning, Utsada. Welcome to Hindu Lounge. Utsada, we are on episode number 72. And for people who are just joining us, this is Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge is brought to you by Hindu Pact, which is the policy research and advocacy initiative of World Hindu Council of America. Hindu Lounge comes live every Sunday at 11 o'clock Eastern on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. And we talk about contemporary American Hindu issues. I am Ajay Shah. I'm the president of World Hindu Council of America. And with me, as always, is Maya Chakrabarti. Right, Maya? Namaste, Maya. And with Maya is her dad, Utsav Chakrabarti, and Utsada is the executive director of Hindu Pact. And we talk, Utsada, about various issues. And today, but we have a really special issue to talk about. It's a very positive vibes that is generated all across America. And actually, there's so many, all the Indian mainstream newspapers today. And we are going to talk about this event that is a unique event. It's the start of something really huge that we hope will last for decades and centuries to come, and that is the celebration of Hindu Heritage Month. October, as you know, so that is going to be celebrated as Hindu Heritage Month by all the Hindu organizations, individuals, mandirs, all of them coming together under a single banner and talking about the positivity that Hindu Dharma has brought to this world over last thousands of years. So that we'll get into that, we'll talk about that. And I want to give you an opportunity to welcome everyone and present your opening remarks, talk about the as we talk about the Hindu Heritage Month, October 2021, and then October every year after that.
Thank you, Ajubai, and welcome everybody. As always, we come every Sunday, and this is going to be our 72nd episode. So, if nothing else, we are consistent, and obviously, we have a lot to discuss. This week, we have something very special going on. It's October is going to be Hindu Heritage Month, as you all know. For you know, America has been receiving Hindus. America has had Hindus since the earliest records of 1600s. So there have been Hindus in America since the 1600s. Especially in the last 8 decades, there has been a significant increase in the growth of Hindu population in America. Uh, we are close to now. American Hindus are almost 2% of the population. And additionally, there are millions of Americans who have adopted one or more Hindu practices. So, it's a very diverse community. It comes from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia, from the African continent, from UK, from Caribbeans, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, you name it, Suriname. There are also significant number of Hindu refugees who have come from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bhutan. So, it's a very, very diverse community that we have here. And as Ajay said, for the first time, we are going to be having October as Hindu Heritage Month. So that's a significant step forward for the community. And, it's very important because, we have now American Hindus who are born and brought up second and third generation in this country, who are Americans in every way and who carry with them the Hindu religion, the Hindu cultures and ethos. So it's very significant, to put it lightly. And today we are going to discuss Hindu Heritage Month and what it entails to our communities here. So Ajay bhai, back to you.
Thank you, Soja. I it is a unique opportunity not just for Hindus in America, and the goal is so that we are starting with North America. We are doing this in US and Canada, but as we created the website and we started contacting other Hindu organizations around the world. And yesterday, Utsoda, we were looking through the list of organizations who have signed up to be affiliate or a partner of Hindu Heritage Month. We found that organizations in as far as countries as far as Thailand have signed up to be partner. So this is really going to be becoming a global phenomenon. So that this is the way I look at it. Hindus have contributed a lot over the past several thousand years. However, the contributions of Hindus have largely been unrecognized. You look at the numbers that our Hindu system created, and this numerical system, right? And this numerical system is called the Arabic numerals. There are, the Pythagoras theorem was invented in India, and it has been given the name Pythagoras to the theorem. So all of these Hindu discoveries, Hindu contributions in the world have largely gone unrecognized, and the same is true in US. Right? We have people who are saying that yoga was invented in the 60th in 1960s, based on some European technique. We have people who are claiming that meditation that the Hindus have pioneered, pranayam, is a technique that is a new technique, a breathing technique that is invented in last 5 years or something like that, right? So all of these things that Hindus have mightily contributed to, and it's not like we want to claim credit for it. All we are saying is that look, there is a reason why these things got invented by Hindus. And the reason is that Hindu dharma provides a certain kind of freedom of thought, certain kind of freedom in action, certain, that frees people up to think out of the box. It is not that no Hindu is going to be persecuted for calling the world round. Okay, that so what we are not saying that everyone should become Hindu. We are not saying that everyone should that everyone should go back 10,000 year, 5,000 year, 1,000 year in history and thank Hindu for all what Hindus have contributed, whether it's zero or chess or everything else, or the sutra in medicine and everything else. No, we are not saying that. We are saying that, look, look at the Hindu dharma. Look at what kind of freedom it gives, what kind of free and you if learn from it, and if we learn from it, then we will have opportunity to, the world will progress in a much more positive way. And so before I go forward, Amitabh Mittalji, who is the General Secretary of VHPA, World Hindu Council of America, has been working very hard on this, and he has just joined. So let me bring him online and get a few words from him. So I was talking to him this morning, and I said, "We are going to talk about in Hindu Lounge. We are going to talk about the Hindu Heritage Month. So why don't you join?" And he's gracious enough to join us. So Amitabh I don't know if you heard our previous conversation, but please chime in, talk about the Namaste, and please welcome to Hindu Lounge, and please give us your thoughts about Hindu Heritage Day.
Yeah, धन्यवाद उसदा, धन्यवाद Ajay bhai inviting me today. Um, you mentioned the coherent breathing technique that was just discovered in the last 2 years. It is so strange. And then there's uh, the super brain yoga. And when you watch the video of the super brain yoga, I think 1.2 billion people at least around the globe are laughing when they watch that. And that's something that a technique used to stabilize people, children suffering from autism, which is a serious affliction. And it's the simplest thing that every child who went to school in India had to go through. And we make fun of it. It's called making somebody a murga, or grabbing your ears, cross ears, and doing sit-ups. There was a reason behind everything. Yes, the Hindu, the ism is added by the British, and I think it is time that the world knows that this is not ism is a very short chapter in the book of Sanatan Vedic Dharma, which is your relationship with the God. That's religion. That should not be the primary thing. The primary goal is to progress and help the community, the environment that you live in, sustain it, support it, grow it. That is why we have the sort of, Sarve Sukhna Bhavantu, Sarve Santu Naramaya. That good for all. That is the goal of every Hindu. Somebody asked me the other day, why are Indian Americans successful? I said, no, it's not Indian American, it's Hindu American who go anywhere on the planet and they're successful. There may be 300 Hindus in Norway, 400 Hindus in Norway, but they have an impact on that economy as well. As like in the United States, you have 10% of the GDP, with some numbers and calculations, is generated by the Hindu Americans who have captured, they use the word captured, the IT industry. And the 90% of the startups in the Silicon Valley, if you look at it, they're all Hindu engineers who came from IITs of India. And why the IIT of India students are more successful here? Because again, I go back to that, our philosophy that is built in our DNA, the ashram that is built in, the Bala ashram, Grasta ashram, then Vradashram and Sannyas. That is, we don't have to say that to or teach it automatically instilled in our children and generations that, first years are for studying. Second, your phase of your life is to earn income, not only for yourself, for charity, for doing all kind of good for the society around you, and taking care of your children and taking care of your parents. And then Vradha Ashram, then where you're going to, whatever you have collected, you're going to get yourself involved in, again, charities and now religious aspects of ism. And then sannyas, and then you mentioned the meditation earlier, and that is where it's like, yes, once you reach the certain age, then you need to concentrate on the creator. The creator is not part of the first three, except you do a morning prayer, you do an evening prayer, and that's it. There is no other requirement for having a relationship with God. So the religion part is very minuscule in our philosophy. That is my point. And this Hindu Heritage Month is going to bring that science to the world. That is the goal, right? Another thing I recently watched was the breathing. Because of this COVID, people are having breathing problems. So they created this new device that you have to practice breathing in. And if you look at it, our practice of doing morning Shankanath, it is the exact same pressure that you require in order to achieve a beautiful sound out of a conch shell, Shankar. And now they made a medical device that you do exactly the same thing until you get that harmony. The light would not go up because they want to exercise your lung. And our ancestors already devised something that is not going to cost you anything. If you find a good conch shell or at a sea that you can play, that's in it. That's the device. So all these things are science-based. If you look at the very base of it, and that's what we want to bring to the world.
And
I'm
this
so
is
happy.
Amitabh, this is excellent. I mean, I think the kind of information you're providing, right, that is really the underpinning of what we are trying to achieve in Hindu Heritage Month. To kind of just tell people that this is what has come. These are the real underlying strengths of Hindu Dharma that gives rise to these discoveries, and that is that is the message that we want to spread. That look, there are these this freedom of thought, this freedom of spirituality, the freedom to think. That is what Hindu Dharma provides, and the entire world will benefit. So I have with me Jay Bansalji, who is leading the project. So namaste, Jayji. Thank you for joining at a very short notice, of minutes of notice, or maybe seconds of notice. And this is something that we have been working on for some time now, and you are in the thick of things. So we would like to hear from you what your thoughts are on the Hindu Heritage Month.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you for the opportunity to reach out to a very wide audience in North America. It's actually a privilege for me to be part of this very special project, very special event for the entire Hindu community, not only in North America but also worldwide. Really, and I say worldwide, for a good reason. When you look at the kind of excitement we're seeing, in India, forget about here. The kind of coverage that we are seeing in India about this event is just absolutely astounding, and that's the place where Hindu culture was born and nurtured. So it's just the Hindu diaspora, as well as the across the world, is just very excited about this thing. So what are some of the values? I think Amitabhji just talked about various value systems that we like to share with the societies that we live in. I think the most important value system that we can talk about is our ability to accept multiple viewpoints. That, I think, is the most fundamental value system that we cherish. We obviously live it every day. We never say this is the. I mean, we say this is the truth as we know it, but there may be other ways to know the same truth, and that, I think, is the beauty of the belief system, the faith, and the culture and the heritage that I and you come from. We I was looking at some very interesting facts as part of my research, and I saw Brahmagupta actually talking about the movement of Earth around around the sun, and this is around the 5th century. Then I reminded myself that in the 16th century, actually 1633, if I remember correctly, Galileo said the same thing. He discovered it independently, I presume, but he said the same thing, and he had to spend the rest of his life under house arrest. So the freedom of thought is something that Hindu culture cherishes, and is you know is something that we want to share with the societies that we live in.
Uh, Jaji, I know that when we put out a call to major Hindu organizations, and this is, we want to make this a broad based event, and we said, look, we want all the Hindu organizations to kind of join us in making this event a success, because this is not something that, one organization in one country necessarily can do. And I mentioned just before you joined that we have now, organization from Thailand who has signed up, not just organizations in US and Canada. And so the response from the Hindu organizations has been overwhelming. So we have about 40 organizations that have signed up. I'm absolutely confident that by the time October rolls in, another 1 week, we will have over 100 organizations part of the partner ecosystem that we have created for this. Not only Hindu organizations, but there are the Edison Dandiya and Garba. There's a huge event in Edison, New Jersey, in US, and they have signed up to be partner. There are organizations, large organizations in Chicago. So when you saw all these organizations kind of signing up and becoming the partners, uh, did that surprise you?
No, actually, it didn't surprise me at all. Look, we are Hindus. We have a rich culture. And I think it's a very simple proposition. We as Hindus should celebrate our rich culture together. That is what Hindu Heritage Month is about. And it doesn't surprise me a bit that all these organizations see the value in coming under one tent and celebrating it together. This is, of course, happening, as far as I know, for the first time. But I can almost guarantee you that it is not by no means the last time. In fact, this is something that we're going to be doing every year. And this year, I mean, we focused on United States and Canada, although a lot of organizations from around the world are joining. But next year, this is going to go global. And you talk about 100 organizations this year. I don't even want to, bet on a number, but next year you'll just see it explode across the world. In every corner of the world, wherever there is a living Hindu, I bet is going. We're going to see some way of celebrating our heritage.
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask Utsoda, do you want to have you want any questions for Jai Ji or Amitabh Ji?
No, this was very fascinating
Can
to hear
you
from both.
adjust your camera a little bit, because it is not quite in this view. It is kind of cutting off. Perfect. That's perfect. Thank you. Go ahead. So the questions.
Yes, so I was going to ask Jayji that it has been an amazing response, and it's really fascinating that so many people around the world are connecting to the idea of Hindu Heritage Month. So this is the first time this is happening in America. What, in his opinion, is the reason why this has not happened before? Is it something that we have not done, or is it something the American society has not thought about?
I think there is always, namaste, Utsavda. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. A good question. There is always a beginning for everything. I mean, we have been celebrating our heritage, in our own ways across the entire nation. And it looks like Amitabhji wants to get in and say something. Please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to give credit where credit is due. So, there are organizations that we came in touch with when we started talking about it last year, and it developed in January, and we've been working on it since the beginning of this year. So, and my always thinking is there are 7 billion people, and ideas are 1 in a billion. So at least 7 people have the same idea at the same time across the planet. So when we started this Hindu Heritage Month project, we found out that the domain Hindu Heritage Month is owned by somebody. We did a little bit of search. We find out it is owned by one of our very close Karyakartas, Gopal Gunnaji from Georgia. who has an organization, and he's been thinking about it for a very long time. And now thinking about it and executing are two different things. And I
Yeah.
think the timing was right. And I do want to give credit to him also that he has this idea for a very long time. But sitting on an idea is, doesn't work. And this is another message we want to send with the Hindu Heritage Months to all. You have an idea, bring it to the executing team, and they will make sure it happens. And that's how
Yeah.
the world progress. And that is that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah. I just wanted to say just one more thing. Uh, you know how long the wheel's been around, and you know how long the luggage has been around. Why did it take so long to put those two things together? It just someone sparks an idea at some point in time, and things happen. So it was just as Amitabhji said, it was just the right timing.
Absolutely.
That's a fantastic response, Jayji, and I think that speaks a lot about many of the things that the Hindu American community can achieve and accomplish, because there are several wheels and several luggages out there that need to connect. And I think with Hindu Heritage Month 2021, we have made a new beginning, which will take us a long way.
Yeah, I want to just chime in on one thing. I want to say that Tejalwen Shah, who's the Joint General Secretary of VHPS, said inauguration on October 1st. From October 2nd to October 30th, every organization will celebrate Hindu Heritage Month, and there is a closing ceremony at the end of the month. Also, Vinod Sharmaji, who is in Canada, points out that we had Hindu Heritage Month here in Alberta and in August of 2021. And I know some other Canadian provinces have declared November as Hindu Heritage Month. I am also aware of the fact that Hindu Awareness and Appreciation Month
Hmm.
has been declared in the state of California by the legislators, and signed by the governor of California, and that is also on October. Now, the good news here is that all the major organizations have joined Hindu Heritage Month. Hindu American Foundation, which has been doing the Hindu Awareness and Appreciation Month (HAAM) for past 7 years or so, has also decided to join the Hindu Heritage Month movement. So we are all getting kind of together in celebrating the Hindu Heritage Month, and we appreciate people like Gokul in Usha and Mihir and Suhag and Hindu American Foundation, that they decided to kind of take their existing initiatives and kind of join with us. And obviously, the organizations like Hindustans Council and Kona and BAPS and all the major organizations, the Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, everyone is with us on this, and we are with everyone else on this. So this is a community effort. Um, I think those if there are any other thoughts that Jaiji, Amitabhji, you want to share.
Ajay bhai, I had one more
Oh,
question
sure.
from both Jayji and Amitabhji. I just
Yes.
want them to tell our audience and walk us through the process of how we arrived at October as the month that was chosen, and because it is of significance. So it is of cultural significance, it is of historical significance. So please tell us, for those of us who are out there who don't know why we picked October, please tell us why October was chosen, both of you.
So yeah, so Amitabhji keeps telling me that is actually a very very important question, because everyone keeps saying, well, why October? Why not November? Why not January? Well, when you look at it, October is already a Hindu Heritage Month in so many ways. A lot of our very very important festivals fall in October. Utsavda, you're from Bengal. Durga Puja is close to your heart. That falls typically in October. Navratri falls in October. Dashera falls in October. So many other things. Diwali sometimes falls in October, sometimes in November. We're never going to be able to align the Hindu festival calendar with the Western calendar, because of different base being used. But majority of our big festivals, cultural festivals, fall in October. So we felt October was the month that we should all be getting together and celebrating our shared heritage.
The same thought process here. I mean, the October overlaps with November and September, and it's always in the middle, and it's very important. The middle child is very important. So it is. It takes most. You when you look at it, that is the only time the entire Bharatvarsh celebrates something together. There are festivals individual to each location. Maybe there are some festival will be four parts of just the north and south celebrating, but this Navami, Dashera, Diwali are globally recognized, and also they are celebrated throughout Bharatvarsh. The entire Hindu community, some shape or form, celebrates in October. So that is why we selected October. I know some places it's cold, some places it's hot, because somebody says, "Oh, it's too cold here." Well, in Australia, it's going to be summer beginning, so that's so it's going to be hot over there. But October is the middle child. October is always going to be important. There's next year, both Dussehra and Diwali are happening in October. So next year, 2022 is very big, And 2022 we are having the World Hindu Congress also in Thailand. That is going to also help. And again, I just want to plug in this. Please visit hindumonths.org and register your organization. If you don't have an organization, you want to do an event individually, register your event individually. By that message, I have a local Chicago group. They're just families got together. They don't have an organization structure, nothing. They do Ramcharitmanas part every day, and they're going to do it for October 1st to October 31st. They decided they will be doing constantly Ramcharitmanas part for the entire month of October. And they're not organizations, they're just some families in Chicago. So if you're an individual, you want to do something with your friends and family in honor of the Hindu Heritage Month, please register your event at hindumonths.org.
Excellent, Amitabhji.
Go ahead, Jayji.
Yeah, so I just want to remind people that, of course, we have the entire month of celebration, but we kick it off next Friday, October 1st, with the inaugural function, and the flyer will be coming out very soon. The dignitaries that we have, participating in this event is just absolutely fantastic. I think you'd love to hear from them. And how you can join the inaugural function will be on the flyer. But I can just tell you, if you forget everything else, just remember hindumonth.org. All the information for joining the inaugural function will be on it. All you have to do is click on the links and you'll be able to join. So looking forward to seeing you all there. And we just like to see you there in thousands, not just hundreds, thousands. This is first time we're doing it. Just be part of it. Enjoy.
Absolutely.
All the best.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that Tejal Ben, who's the Joint General Secretary of BHPA and has been working at the grassroots level, has joined. And she is going to talk a little bit about what she's been doing with all the mandirs, the HMEC, which is Hindu Mandir Executives Conference, and also in New Jersey locally. So Tejal Ben, I'm glad you dialed in. We always hope that people join this call, they dial in and join this call. We don't have scheduled guests in this program, but I'm glad that a lot of people are calling in today, and we hope that more people dial in. But Tejalwin, please give us your view on the Hindu Heritage Month and what kind of preparations are you doing with the Hindu Mandir Executives Conference and the Hindu organizations, and how are you getting them to sign up to be partners? So namaste and welcome.
Yeah, namaste everyone. Thank you for bringing me in to talk to all of you as well as to the larger Hindu community across the world and specifically North America about Hindu Heritage Month. So happy to hear the news about the community from outside United States joining for the celebration. Amitabhji and Jayji has covered a lot. Only thing I would like to share that our mandirs are our Sanskriti and Sanskar Dham. That the fundamental reason behind celebrating Hindu Heritage Month is to give us the positive identity what we have, to make it visible to the world, and specifically our youth, our young children. So all the Bal Vihars, all the Vidya Kendras, all the Bal Gokulam at mandirs, please come forward, join us with your young students, young kids for the celebration. Let them realize that who we are. That's what that is very very important. And this Bal Vihar, Bal Gokulam, Vidya Kendras being run at mandirs are something that is very very important pillar and the foundation of Hindu identity. So I request all the mandirs to come forward and register themselves, their events on the hindumonth.org, as mentioned earlier, that particular website. Be part of the celebration. Let the world see who we are and how we celebrate our festivals, our customs, Sanskriti, Sabhyata, all that. The other aspect of the Hindu Mandir Executive Conference is bringing our priests who are sharing their knowledge, dharma, with the knowledge of dharma with us when we contribute and we participate at the events at mandirs. So let's give them respect. Let's bring them on the forefront. We have also Hindu priest conference along with the Hindu Mandir Executive Conference, so we would like to have them participate as well. And for that, we are appealing mandirs to do at least one yagya during this month at the mandir. If you are registered and if you register your event, whatever event you pick for the celebration, that will be broadcasted on the calendar of the hindumonth.org. So that way your mandir, your activity will be known to the world as well. It's going to basically get the larger exposure. That's what I would say. So this is an opportunity. This is time to be together and celebrate our rich culture, rich heritage, what we have. Namaste, dhanyavad.
Thank you, Tejalben. Tejalben, any central program that HMEC will be doing as part of this, or is it being? I know that mandirs are getting together on Tuesday, but is there a plan that all mandirs will get together and do one common program?
There are a couple of possibilities. One is under the Balvihar stream. We are talking about keeping a webinar. And then the other thought is to have all the Pandits and Shastrijis to come together and do the chanting on one particular day. So that is being worked. I'm working closely with all the mandirs, and particularly here in New Jersey, the Navratri, as mentioned, it's a very big festival for all of us, and they do it on the road outside on Newark Avenue. So Jersey City Asian Merchant Association as well as the Govinda Temple, they are going to be part of our celebration for the Navratri, and we are basically making a fire department as well as the police department of Jersey City also part of it. We are trying to work on the plan, next steps. So lot is happening. And one thing I would like to appeal to all of you: don't forget the Bindi Day. 7th October to be celebrated as a Bindi Day. We all have to come out wherever we are with the bindi or tilak on our forehead. If somebody asks, explain why we are doing that. It's very important. And website also, I think, will provide some graphics and some information about how to celebrate the Bindi Day, which is very, very important. Knowing what has happened few days back in Atlanta, knowing specifically what has happened in Atlanta a few days back, it's very important that we get recognition of our customs. Namaste.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you, Tejalben.
Excellent, Tejaji. Can I just say something?
Yes, please.
So this is actually Tejaji. Namaste. Your namaste. Your appearance on the screen reminded me of something very important, and actually you alluded to it just now. We want to promote the use of bindi and tilak during the month of Hindu. This month of October. If you're a Hindu, please find a way. I mean, to use one symbol, one visible symbol on yourself. Wear an om, maybe around your neck, on your wrist. Put a tilak on. If you're a female, put bindi on. But if other faiths can display their articles of faith, whether it's Star of David, whether it's the cross, or any other faith symbol, there is no reason why Hindus cannot display tilak and om and bindi.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That is a really, really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Tejal Ben, thank you for bringing the point up. So we're
Thank you.
coming to the end of this segment of our program. So unless there are any final words from Amitabh ji, Jai ji, Tejal Ben, any final words before we move on to the next part of the program?
No, I'll just say, hey, wonder it was a good opportunity to talk to.
Thank you. We are still going to continue on Hindu
Just,
Heritage Month, but we have some
Thank you.
other information we wanted to share. But thank you for joining.
I just want
Thank
to
you.
say, please visit hindumonths.org.
And there's a Facebook
Hindumonths.org.
page. Amitabh ji, what is the Facebook page?
At Hindu Heritage.
At Hindu Heritage. Okay.
Yes.
At Hindu Heritage on Facebook and hindumonth.org on on web. Okay. So please visit. Thank you, Amitabh ji. Thank you,
Thank you.
Tejal Ben. Thank you, Jai
Thank
ji,
you.
for joining.
Namaste. Dhanyavad.
Namaste.
Yeah,
Namaste.
namaste everyone.
Namaste.
Uh, Utsada, back to you. And you have quite a few things that you were going to talk about. So let's start with can I just say one thing, Utsada, that uh, we have a whole bunch of proclamations from the governors, and should we start with that? Because that is such a positive that the entire community has gotten involved, and now we have proclamations from 6 states plus California, and we have let's take a look at it. Usada, why don't you take it from here? Tell us about the proclamation and what it means to the Hindu community, not just here but also in Bharat and other places when they see governor after governor rolling out proclamations. So this is from Ohio and New Jersey. Oh, by the way, some of my slides probably got overwritten, which is fine. I'll put the other one. This is Georgia and Massachusetts, and this is there was obviously there is a Florida one as well. There we go. This is Georgia, Massachusetts, Ohio, New Jersey, Florida, and Texas. Sorry, the slides are still there. And then we have one of the counties in Florida, and more are coming. Right. So talk to us about this. What does this mean? What is this to the Hindu community in America and in the world?
So, Ajay bhai, what is really fascinating is that in all these years, with Hindu Americans being almost close to 2% of the population, and many millions of Hindu Americans, many millions of Americans practicing Hindu aspects of Hindu Dharma all over the country, nowhere in our past few decades have we, at no point we have received that many proclamations. And that's, as Jayji said, is a new beginning. And so, as you can see, we have proclamations from Florida, we have proclamations from Texas, and we have proclamations from Georgia, Ohio, Massachusetts. From California, we already have one, which Hindu American Foundation has been working on, Hindu Awareness Month. So what it points to is that more and more political entities across America, governing entities across America, are beginning to consider American Hindus as part of their statecraft, as part of their state's identity. And to recognize that in the form of Hindu Awareness Month through proclamations is something that is very good for the American Hindu community. What it also entails is that it brings American Hindus, they were already part of the mainstream. They have been part of the mainstream for many centuries now, since the first Hindu came to America. But this is an acknowledgement of that mainstream. And that is very important because, in today's America and today's world, divisive politics, hate politics, targeting because of somebody's religion or nationality, nation of origin, or skin color is something very common. It is used in the political parlance so much. So to see a bipartisan response to this across America is a fascinating thing. And the fact that in the beginning, when the first Florida governors it was declared by the Florida governor that October is Hindu Awareness Month. People in the media didn't want to believe it. There were fact-checking sites out there which were actually saying that this is fake. This is just some Hindus trying to make themselves look important. That shows the level of distrust and hate, if I cannot put it in any better way, that many people have for American Hindus. The fact that the governor of Florida actually proclaimed that October is Hindu Awareness Month, media refused to report it in the beginning because they just didn't trust anybody. And that shows the inherent bias against the Hindu community. It took 3 more proclamations. It took a proclamation from Texas, it took a proclamation from New Jersey, then from Georgia, then from Massachusetts, then from Ohio, that finally a newspaper article came out that talked about that, okay, yeah, fine, true, Hindus. And if anybody is out there thinking, this is not a difficult thing. Hindus are part of the American mainstream, and for Hindus to suffer this kind of discrimination, that even when some governor is declaring and proclaiming October as Hindu Heritage Month, media out there is questioning it and actually saying it's fake news because Hindus don't deserve it or Hindus can't do it. So that shows the level of inherent bias in the society out there. And I just wanted to point that out because I myself, when Hindu Pact first put this out on Twitter, that they were a barrage of responses that were ridiculing Hindus. And some of them were not even from people who are usually known for their anti-Hindu hate because of whatever reasons. They were from mainstream Americans. So that is something I wanted to point out, Ajay bhai. And I
It's a
wanted
really
to have
good
your
point.
opinion on that. What do you think is
This is, I started, so somebody called me within minutes of the first time the question was raised and said, "Did you see this?" I was like, "No, see what?" And they said, "Well, it's being reported that this is fake news." And I said, "How can it be fake news when our chapter president in Florida has received an actual letter from the governor? What is fake about this?" And they said, "Well, the font size is different and the layout of the letter is different from the other proclamation at some point they may have done." And I was like, how do you base how do you even base a counter argument when someone says, well, the font is different or the font size is different? And then they pointed me to this website in India, which is a fact check website. And I, first of all, because I said, well, that website may be fake, but it was not. The website is an actual affiliate of the international network of websites that do fact checking. So then I went to that website. I found out the procedure to appeal, and so did Amitabh Mittalji. And they took Amitabh Mittalji's letter, some of the evidence he submitted, some of the evidence I had sent, that other people had sent, and they actually corrected themselves. But it took 2 days for them to correct. Until then, this particular narrative that this may be fake news festered. In my view, this is almost like Hindus going through Agni Pariksha. Okay, that we have to go through this because we have to prove that no, we are genuine, and this should not be. But we came through it when more and more proclamations have rolled in. There are many more in the pipeline, and as they start coming in, we'll start posting them. But you're absolutely right, Utsoda. This is the level of skepticism regarding Hindus that exists. Hindus can be sitting can be sitting at the highest echelons of the corporate America. Hindus, people, could be at the highest echelons of the politics in US, and they can be, a person of Indian origin can be sitting as vice president, and still, when it comes to Hindu achievement of any kind, in Hindu recognition rather of any kind in the public arena, there is skepticism, and that is baffling. But I think, if you really think back, why do we really need Hindu Heritage Month? It is precisely to negate this. That is why we need Hindu Heritage Month. The next thing, I also think that the reason this was as successful in terms of gaining traction, gaining governmental, endorsement, and all of that, is because so many Hindu organizations have come together. And we said in the previous segment that we have a list of about 45 Hindu organizations who have signed on to it. So then let me show you this. And uh, this is just a partial list of organizations who have signed on. You can see, in addition to VHPA, there's Vishwa Hindu, there's a Thailand-based Vishwa Hindu Parishad, there's Usha, there's Chingari, Vyayam, Hindu Students Council. There is an this is the who's who of Hindu America. There's Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, Hindu Women's Network, Hindu University of America, Priests for You, uh, and Mission Bindi that Tejal Ben just talked about, Hindus of Greater Houston, which is a umbrella organization of all the Hindu organizations in Houston. There's a music school that has signed up, and here are some more. There is a BAPS, one of the largest Hindu sampradayas out there. The Ekal Vidyalaya is part of this, and as I said, many many more coming. Just the fact that Hindu Mandir Executives Conference is part of it, it brings with it about 600 mandirs. So, and Kona, of course, Hindu American Foundation, two of the prominent Hindu advocacy groups, along with Hindu Pact. So, uh, all three Hindu advocacy groups that are prominent in America, Kona, HF, and Hindu Pact, are also partners in this initiative. So this is the reason why when any politician out there looks at it and says, "Look, there are 40 organizations, 50 organizations, some of them umbrella organizations, and more coming in," we it basically it's a mainstream Hindu function, and all the governors are one after the other proclaiming October to the Hindu Heritage Month. Uh, so that what do you have to say about this Hindu unity at display? This
Well,
is
I think this is a great example of how community organizations that address different aspects of Hindu life in America, whether it is advocacy, whether it is culture, whether it is prayers and religious services, whether it is business, every aspect of Hindu life in America are joining in this effort. But going back to the topic that you were discussing, one of our interns at Hindu Pact was actually accosted by a bunch of people who questioned him about the authenticity of the Hindu Heritage Month proclamations from different states. And it was fantastic because when our intern approached me and said, what do I respond? Because this is a real photograph of a real proclamation, and how do I respond? I said, you know what? Don't respond. Just wait for a few more states to declare it, and then let them question all those as well, and let them make a fool of themselves. But this is something that is an outcome of an organized campaign in American academia and American media regarding Hindu community, and I think that is also an important aspect that we need to deal with during the Hindu Heritage Month in October, because part of the effort is not just to showcase and share the strengths and the lives of Hindu communities in different parts of America, but to also share the victimhood and the targeting, and often sometimes pure hate campaigns that American Hindus face. And that is important because it is in October that we will be talking about some of the very important issues that American Hindus face in terms of discrimination and hate as well. So I just wanted to point out that it's not just about celebrating our strengths and successes and our traditions and uniqueness. It's also to share the sufferings that we go through in not just in America but around the world. So that's just something I wanted to point out.
Yeah, and, so that you bring up a really good point. There are multiple aspects to Hindu Heritage Month, and I don't want that to be lost. There are six different aspects or themes to the Hindu Heritage Month, and I want to show this so that people get full appreciation of what all is included and what are all the different aspects of of Hindu Dharma, the categories that we want to talk about. So if you can see my slide, Utada, this is what I mean. There are six different. So one of first thing is that it's an open architecture. So all the member organizations or partner organizations rather can do whatever activities they want to do but that are related in some way or the other to Hindu Dharma. So that is the first thing to kind of keep in mind. The second one is that each organization these can be traditional events that a mandir is doing a puja, or it could be a festivity such as dandiya, garba, whatever else people are doing, and they do it as part of the Hindu Heritage Month. There is no there is no real uh, prescribed requirement other than the organizations register, they put up a logo and all that. And there are six different themes, to your point, Utsada. The themes, broadly speaking, are sanskar, which is the cultural values. Tejalben talked about it. There's seva or service, and we know that in October, during the Diwali time, October November time period, all the Hindu organizations get together and celebrate Seva Diwali. So Seva Diwali becomes yet another aspect and reinforcing aspect of Hindu Heritage Month, because after all, Seva Parmo Dharma. That's what Hindu Dharma teaches. So Seva is another theme for the Hindu Heritage Month. The third one is family. How are the Hindu values are useful in strengthening the families? So themes around family value. The next is advocacy, and Utsada, you just mentioned a little bit about advocacy, and I'm sure you'll talk more about it. But advocacy is an integral part. Advocacy for good, advocacy for human rights, advocacy for gender equality, advocacy for advocacy for helping people who are in need, no matter where they are and who they are, equality, and all of this. That is all part of the advocacy theme of Hindu Heritage Month. Next theme is partnering, and you now see the solidarity between across the Hindu organizations, but it's just not Hindu organizations, right? We want to reach out to organizations that are diverse, organizations that are part of the environmental movement, a part of the labor movement, a part of the other aspects of American life or Canadian life, or in the wherever we are celebrating Hindu Dharma. And the next one is, of course, engagement in American life. So we don't want to say that we have always said that we are about American Hindu. We are an American Hindu organization. We talk about American Hindu issues. We don't say, typically in our shows, we don't say we are talking about Hindu Americans. We are American Hindus, and there is a subtle but an important distinction, and that should not be lost here. So these are the six themes, and you alluded to these six themes. Maybe you can next talk about some of the programs in some a little bit more detail. I know Jaiji, Amitabhji, they all talked about it. Tejalben talked about it, but from your perspective, what are some of the programs that are important here?
Well, Ajay, bhai, I just wanted to point out that it's important that Hindu American communities also talk about issues that are relevant to American communities. So on October 12th, it's going to be the United States Indigenous Peoples Day, and Indigenous peoples form a big chunk of our population in many states, and therefore, as communities, Hindu communities around the world are often the indigenous communities in their native lands, be it in Afghanistan, Pakistan. So we will be Bangladesh, Nepal, you name it, across Asia, Hindu communities are indigenous communities. So on October 12th, we will be, as part of Hindu Heritage Month, be honoring and talking about indigenous communities. This time, we will be specifically talking about the indigenous communities of what is present-day Pakistan, and how the Hindus, who are the indigenous communities of that country, are targeted for forced conversion. And Hindu Pact, our advocacy arm, has a specific project called the Chingari Project that you may have heard about. If you haven't, please visit chingari.org. And not just on October 12th, but even before that and after that, please connect with them. And this is a chance for you, especially on October 12th, to spread the word about the voice of the Pakistani indigenous communities who are Hindus. All of them are actually, most of them are Hindus, to your lawmakers. Share the plight of these people, and you will be fascinated to see how much support we can generate with it. So that's one of the days we wanted to celebrate as part of the Hindu Heritage Month. Then another one is October 22nd. October 22nd.
Can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Sure, please.
The Chingari had a major event last Saturday. It was they had vigil in about 12 cities in US and Canada, and a lot of people got together in every city in a central place, and they advocated for girls who are as young as 12 and 12, 13, 14-year olds who are getting abducted and forcibly converted. And so that we did a show where on Sunday, where we invited a lot of people who had taken part in the vigil, and so that you're going to give us some details about the premiere of this. So I think we are planning a premiere of that show, but we have the reports from all the people who participated in the vigil, and that was Hindu Lounge number 71, the previous show. We will rebroadcast and premiere it today at 5 o'clock. Right, Utsada, you want to add something to that? By the way, Chingari stands for Coalition for Hindu Girls Abducted and Their Rights. Coalition for Hindu Girls Abducted and Their Rights, Chingari. And the vigil was on September 18th, and the Hindu Launch special will roll out today. So that you want to add something to that, because you played a significant role in planning along with Rakhi, who joined and Rakhi is leading that project. But you maybe you can just plug that premiere a little bit.
Yeah, we will have the premiere today, and you will most likely get an alert about it. And follow us on YouTube, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America website, and we can all join the premiere later in the afternoon Eastern time, and you will be able to see what all our communities did across the country. And a special shout out goes to Rakhi and Kiran and Shreya, who were the interns for the Chingari project, and they did a fantastic job. And this is just the beginning, so keep an eye out for it. And Ajay bhai, we can talk about the next.
Yes, please. That is a really good and very, very important cause for the Hindus around the world. So that you have done a lot of work on this through the years. So please tell us about this.
So October 22nd is what is called as the Black Day for the Hindu communities, again native communities, indigenous communities from the region of Kashmir in the Indian subcontinent. So as you all know, one third of state of Jammu and Kashmir actually is still colonized by the country of Pakistan, and all the native Hindus from those lands have been forced to leave and seek refuge in India, mostly in Indian part of Jammu and Kashmir in the Jammu region. So October 22nd, 1947 was the day when jihadists from the Pakistan army, as well as the precursors of who we know as the Taliban today, radical Islamists from the northwest frontier regions of Pakistan, invaded Jammu and Kashmir right after the British left. And more than 11,000 people were killed within a week. Most of them are from the Hindu minority communities and Sikh minority communities. So on October 22nd, we would be commemorating a Black Day or the Kashmir Genocide Day, and that's something we will like everybody to join. And if you want to host rallies, if you want to host protests, please stay connected with us. Reach out to us on Twitter at Hindu Pact or through emails, and we would be happy to work on that issue. Also, we are going to roll out a couple of initiatives in terms of outreach to lawmakers, in terms of creating awareness in the communities through exhibition campaign. So please stay in touch with us. Connect with us at Hindu Pact on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and you will get to know more about this October 22nd event. Back to you, Ajay bhai.
So that I want to point out that there is also another advocacy related event that will be happening, and Hindu Pact will under the Hindu Pact banner, and that is and it's still in the planning stages. But I do want to say that this is also the 100th anniversary of the Mapla program or genocide of Hindus that happened in Kerala about 100 years ago. when in protesting, and this as strange as it may sound, the people in the Muslims in Kerala were upset about the caliphate defeat in Turkey, and they took out their anger and killed and converted thousands of Hindus in Kerala. This is one of the uh, one of the least known, remembered. I would say it was known at the time when it happened, but one of the least remembered part of the Hindu history. And we will be talking about that. We'll have multiple events on that as part of our advocacy movement in October. Uh, we will also there is also a youth program about Hindu identity that is being planned by Hindu Pact, and that is also going to happen in October. So stay tuned. Go to hindumonth.org, and you'll see all of these events showing up in the community calendar. I am personally really looking forward to the Hindu identity webinar that Vishakha Manik ji is doing from Ohio, where the youth are going to take a center stage and talk about the identity of American Hindu youth, both from US and Canada. So that is yet another event that is going to be significant when it comes to advocacy. And yagna, priest, all of these things kind of go together. Nothing is isolated. Nothing is a one-off here. All of it cumulatively coming together makes what is Hindu Heritage Month.
Absolutely, Ajay bhai. And I just wanted to say that this, what we are doing as part of Hindu Heritage Month, is not just to celebrate, educate, and present what is the past of American Hindus, but it is to create and start the journey for the future of American Hindus. And when I say the future of American Hindus, I don't, many of you may have seen in the beginning. I had my 2-year-old daughter standing next to me for the HinduLounge show. It is those people for which we are commemorating the Hindu Heritage Month, and hopefully we will keep doing that in the years to come. So that is the goal and intention of Hindu Heritage Month. And my daughter is roaming around here as I do the show, and I just wanted to say that it's towards the future.
This is really for her.
Yeah, it's towards the future that we are looking at, and not the
Absolutely.
past.
This is so that this is what somebody asked me to comment on Hindu Heritage Month, and this is what I said. I said that in our 10,000 year history, this is the year we are starting a new tradition for the connected world. Every year in October, we will share the exuberance of our festivals. We will tell the world about our heritage, uh, how we have made positive difference in every aspect of human life, from spirituality and culture to art, literature, science, astronomy, and medicine. We will share the joys of yoga, meditation, and seva paramo dharma, or selfless service, in the highest form of spirituality. As we celebrate the Hindu Heritage Month, we will tell the world that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, our entire universe is one family, is the key to harmonious and sustained existence on this planet Earth. This is not the message for today. This is the message that Maya and her generation will give to the subsequent generation. And this is not the message that we are giving. This is the message that came from our ancestors, and we are only playing a role in passing this message on to the future generations as part of the Hindu Heritage Month. And to do that in West, I think is going to be significant. So, Usada, any final thoughts? This is something we're going to talk about for a month, but today we just introduced the topic. Do you have any final comments before we move on to the next topic?
No, I would just say that stay tuned. This being 26th of September is the beginning of a journey for the next 1.5 months, and you can stay tuned for everything that comes. And as I said, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow our website hindumonth.org, and we will be doing a lot of things to come. So I think, Ajay bhai, we can go to the next segment. And
Absolutely. Usada,
this segment actually points out, gives us another good reason why.
but we always start with, I know you're eager to go to the Hindu Phobe of the month, but that is the one that we usually wait for, because that's a cliffhanger. Before people stay tuned, because they want to know what Utsoda has picked. But before that, we have our two regularly scheduled segments. First one is Hindu Seva Act or Charity Act of the Week. And here is the music.
मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं लोकहितं.
Usada, the Hindu Seva Charity Act of the Week. Every week we pick one seva or charity that people can contribute to. And this week, Utsada, no surprise, we're talking about Hindu Heritage Month, and every organization is doing their own programs. VHP America is doing its own program as part of Hindu Heritage Month. We appeal to everyone to go to bhpamerica.org, bhp-america.org, and click on the donate button and donate for the Hindu Heritage Month activities. So our Seva Act of the Week, VHP America Hindu Heritage Month activities, go to bhp-america.org and contribute the best you can. The next regular segment, Utsada, is the Hindu Good News of the Week. Utsada, Hindu Good News of the Week always requires a good drum roll. So, Utsada, would you mind if I do a really good drum roll? Would that excite you?
I am already excited. Ajay bhai, please go ahead.
I know we have to do a drum roll because good news, there's always good news. The glass is always half full. And here is the Hindu Good News of the Week. So the Hindu Good News of the Week is America returned 170 artifacts that were in the American museums to India. So when Prime Minister Modi was visiting US this week, uh, from various museums, other places, you know that artwork gets stolen from India all the time. And we were talking about Soda and I were talking that we'll do a special show about Hindu artwork that is stolen, that is plundered, that is under threat in various countries. We don't want to talk about it today and take away, the gravity of it by condensing it in 30 seconds. But a lot of that artwork it goes through the illegal art trading market, and the artwork ends up in the museums in America, and it's completely illegal. So, U.S. government uh, gathered up 170 or so pieces, invaluable historic pieces, and when Prime Minister Modi was visiting this week, handed 170 such pieces over. There are thousands such pieces out there, and even now the murtis from mandirs are being stolen. These are 1,000-year-old murtis, 1,500-year-old murtis in South India that are being stolen. Utsada, your thoughts. I know you are an architect. You have spent a lot of time understanding this, looking at the history of this. Who better to articulate this than you?
So Ajay bhai, I think we should have a special segment on this. But in the last 20 years, there have been efforts by different leaders in India to bring back the Hindu heritage from different parts of the world that have been stolen, sometimes often during the colonial periods. And just to put it on record, in the last 7 years under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, close to 2,500 of these have been brought back to India, and a process of restoring them is underway. In the years before that, in the 8 years and 10 years before that, from 2004 onwards, 2005 onwards, about 2 of them were brought back. So it tells the commitment to some extent of the leadership in India. 2 in 10 years and then 2,500 in 7 years. So it talks about the commitment towards the civilization, if I can put it as plainly as that. And I really appreciate Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, for doing this. One of our next week's segments will also be about the heritage of Hindu artifacts, Hindu heritage and artifacts in what is present-day Afghanistan, and we'll have a specific segment on that because we are working on something. So I'll keep that much information out there, and I would request everybody to join us next Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to know more about our project, Hindu Pacts project, on the artifacts and Hindu heritage of Afghanistan and what we are doing to keep them alive and living. And join us to hear more about it next week. So Ajay bhai, I just want to say that this is a fantastic news. I really appreciate you brought it to everybody's attention.
So it's all you. So congratulations.
And
Thank you very much. You're doing so much work on this. It deserves this.
and I often, in the last 20 years of being an architect, trying to pay my bills, I have often wondered if there will ever be a time when I will be able to travel the world and document professionally the heritage of Hindus around the world, and maybe write a book or two or a coffee table book or something about it. And it's been my dream project, and hopefully someday I will have the resources and the support to do that. And it means a lot to me, because as an architect I'm very passionate. Part of the reason I am doing what I do today in terms of Hindu activism is because of the knowledge and the awareness I gained as an architect traveling around India, often under internships of United Nations funded projects called INTAC. It's a state funded project in India with UNESCO. And I saw what happened over the last 1200 years to beautiful architecture of Hindus and Indian civilizational entities across India. And it really brought in me, awoke the Hindu in me, if I can put it that way. And whatever I do today is partially because of that. So yes, this is a fantastic news.
So that if there was, I could hear, and I could see the passion in you when it came to this topic, and I admire all that you're doing. I know I did this sound before. I need to do it again for all the awesome work that you have been doing on this topic.
Okay. now I almost I feel like a soccer player in European soccer leagues.
Yeah, it is. You're the architect star. As if somebody can be soccer star, you're the architect star. Utsada, with that, we come to the final segment of the show that everyone actually waits for, and that is the Hindu Phobe of the week. Uh, Utsada, every week, I mean, this is the toughest job we have. There's so many Hindu phobes out there, and among all of them that get nominated, to pick one. I mean, this has to be gross injustice to all the other people who don't get picked, and they have to up the ante and do even more Hindu phobic thing, right? How can how can you qualify to be the best, to be the worst of the worst in terms of Hindu phobia? So Utsada, tell us who you have picked for this week as I show this slide.
Thank you, Ajay bhai. And this week I picked this. You have to go, Ajay bhai.
Yeah, I'm coming to it. Sorry.
You
There
can
we
go.
go. Hindu
There
phobe.
we go.
I think we call it Hindu phobe of the week. So that not a Hindu hater of the week.
Uh, it,
Not that
I
there's
think
a huge
it
difference.
qualifies as Hindu hate.
All right, qualifies as Hindu hate. Go for it.
So the reason I used this photograph is because it was sent to me by somebody who was in Washington, D.C. yesterday, who was actually attending an event to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India with dance and song and music. And there they were. You will see in the photograph, you see a Pakistani national with the crescent and the green flag, which is the flag of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and a bunch of people wearing turbans who I won't even dignify to call them Sikhs, because they are not. They are basically proxies of Islamists, with a poster of Prime Minister of India with photoshopped Shaiva Tilak and photoshopped Shakta Tilak. So a red Tilak and a photoshopped Shaiva tradition Tilak. And the reason I brought this picture to everybody's notice is because these people, we all know who they are supported from, who they are funded from, but they are in American mainstream. They use this photograph not just in Washington, D.C., but also in New York when the Prime Minister of India was giving a lecture at the United Nations yesterday. So this photograph has been used so widely. And I pointed this out because the image actually has these Tilak's photograph, and it shows the level of hatred that these people actually attribute to Hindus. So just the use of the word of the graphics of tilak as a symbol of hate is something that we should be all aware of. And that's why even more it is important for us to celebrate the World Bindi Day during the Hindu Heritage Month. And to use these symbols, these are benign symbols of Hindus from thousands of years in practice, from not just Hindus. If you go to ancient civilizations from across the world, the Greek civilization, the Roman civilization, they also used to have similar Hindu practices as part of their cultures and civilizations. So to use these symbols as symbols of hate to target Hindus is something that is being mainstreamed in America. And that's why you had over the decades movements like the Dot Busters, and just now in Atlanta you saw No Dots campaign by the racists. So that's why I want to call these people as Hindu haters of the week, not just Hindu phobes. They do not fear Hindus, they actually hate Hindus. And it's an organized campaign to target specifically Hindus and make them vulnerable in the societies they live in. And I really wanted to show this picture because this is important for every Hindu to know, not just people who are of Indian origin and who probably connect to the Prime Minister of India and the politics of India, but people of all origin, Hindus of all origin from across the world, because they are as much the target of this campaign as people who are immigrants from India.
So that this is, this is in some ways a continuation of what we have seen over the last few years, where where people are weaponizing Hindu traditions, Hindu culture, Hindu symbols against Hindus. So if you go back and think about Holi against Hindutva, it is taking Holi and weaponizing it against Hindutva. Or they're trying to do the same thing with Diwali, and they've tried to do that same thing about other Hindu festivals, where they've taken the festival that Hindus are celebrating for thousands of years and have tried to weaponize these festivals against Hindus. So you would not think of someone celebrating a Bakri Eid as as a day of against for promoting veganism. Nobody is doing that. And if they were to use Islam and Bakri Eid and try to turn the tables and promote vegan, vegans against Islamists, that kind of movement would not would be considered Islamophobic and would be portrayed in a really bad light. But on the other hand, Holi against Hindutva, taking a face of a Hindu politician and taking the tilak, which is a Hindu symbol, and making it uh, making a symbol of a sexual perversion, and then depicting it out in the depicting this politician in that way. You don't have to belong to a particular political party. You don't even have to be Hindu, but you can see this clearly as a sign of hate against Hindus. This is no different than taking the word Hindutva and using it, which is the essence of Hindu Dharma, and using it as a proxy to insult Hindus. So if you look at Holi against Hindutva, if you look at if you look at the perversion of the word Hindutva, if you look at the way the the Modi's tilak has been depicted
No,
and
Adiba, it's not.
sexualized.
What is important is that this is Photoshop. It's not even something that Modi
Well,
was actually wearing. So the fact that
absolutely.
these people make an effort to Photoshop a basic Hindu symbol identity onto the face of a political leader from another part of the world and
Yes.
associate that with terrorism. So essentially, it was not enough for them. For a moment, leave everything aside, and for a moment, assume anything that you want to assume about Modi. But it was not enough to just show Prime Minister of India's face. They had to go through the process of actually overlapping and adding layers of Hindu identity, which is the tilak, photoshopping it on top of his face to make it, quote unquote, in their worldview, evil. So if that is not an example of hate, pure hate for everything that Hindus stand for around the world, historically and now and in the future, then I think there is no other way. It's literally like putting a Star of David on the face of any Israeli politician or Jewish politician and calling them evil. That is the
and
level of
distorting it,
hate that these people are projecting, and it's
and
passing.
distorting it,
It's
and
passing. It's
distorting.
passing in the public square. It's This is the reason why you have 40 plus universities in America associating themselves with a conference that directly targets Hindus and Hindutva. So you can see the level of normalization of hate that is happening in America right now. So please take a step back, think about what you can do next month to reverse this trend, and this is incumbent upon us for our future generations.
Absolutely, Utsoda, I cannot thank you enough for bringing this up. This is something that most Hindus do not know is going on, and they, they really need to be made aware of this. So, Utsoda, I cannot thank you enough. I want to bring this show to a conclusion, but before we do that, I want to acknowledge once again a special music that was created just for this episode of Hindu Lounge. Every week, Decibels creates a special tune for Hindu Lounge, and this week they have created an amazing tune. So I cannot thank Decibels enough. They have now been doing this for last at least 40 episodes. They have been doing this. This is Rag Bageshri that they have created based the tune on. So from the as we conclude the show, please stay tuned and listen to the special tune that is created for Hindu Lounge number 72, based on Rag Bageshri by Decibel. And everyone, thank you for joining. Please follow hindumonth.org to see what events are taking place. And we will leave you with that. Utsoda, thank you and namaste. Thank you for joining, everyone. We had a great show today, and I will turn over to the music. Unless you have any final words, Utsoda, we will go to the music.
Please go ahead, and thank you everybody for joining us. See you next Sunday at 11 Eastern.